Let's get to it. Welcome back. President of the Arab American Institute, I'm sorry, member of the Executive Committee of the DNC and widely read syndicated political columnist, Dr. James Zogby. Joined by the National Review columnist and senior fellow at the Ethics and Public Policy Center, Mona Charen. I want to correct myself. It is John Zogby because we get those wrong from time to time. My apologies as well. I thank you both for joining us. Mona, let me begin with you. We heard coming in from people who say that the polls don't bother us. We don't care. We don't listen. Here we go. More polls again. This is the latest New York Times CBS News poll. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are tied. Oh, but wait a minute. The latest Rasmussen poll tells us that in likely U.S. voters, Trump 44, Clinton 37. Mona, should we pay any attention to any of this whatsoever?
Look, whatever I say, people are going to do it. We are poll obsessed. And it's almost as if, that old story about how, you can't plant a tree and then pull it up by the roots every day to see how it's growing. You could say the same about polling. Take it with a grain of salt. It's every poll, as I'm sure John Zogby would confirm, is just a snapshot of time. It is not predictive. It doesn't tell you where things will be in a few months. It says this is where we are at this moment. And at this moment, voters are expressing their dismay at what James Comey revealed about Hillary Clinton.
So then, John, let me come to you when it comes to Hillary Clinton. So disliked, so distrusted. We hear it over and over again from people. So, all right, what does she do? I mean, frankly, from your opinion, how does she then take this, or can she at this point? It's so damning, a lot of the evidence in front of her. Can she turn this around in any way, shape, or form?
Well, let me just begin by saying some days it's easier being an Arab than it is being a pollster. But anyway, with that said, I don't know what she can do. She is so damaged. America does not trust her. Mona will agree with this. The most telling things about these polls these days are just how badly both candidates are doing. Look you've got two presumptive nominees, both polling in the low 40s to high 30s at this point. Who is better known than Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton? So what does she do? Does she reinvent herself? Absolutely not.
What is there to reinvent, quite frankly, to be honest, John? What is there to reinvent at this point?
Yeah, the attacker is the person who's not trusted. I think, the best she can do is run out the clock and hope for the best. But I think she's so damaged she could lose this election.
Mona, should we not admit to ourselves that no matter how many polls are out there, no matter how much discourse there is, I see this on social media every single day where people are arguing about how distrusted Hillary is, how distrusted Donald Trump is, how this one lied, how that one lied. Yet it always comes back to the exact same answer from every single person. I don't care. I'm voting for Hillary. I'm voting for Donald Trump. Is it not fair to say that in July, we're at a point right now where it's not going to change many minds? Most people have their minds made up. Sure seems that way.
It's a sad and cynical year. And this is not the year to be an idealist in politics with these two nominees. But people will probably repair to their corners. They will probably vote on identity politics, on their group, on their tribe. And that, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your point of view, I think favors the Democrats.
John, we're always told that you have to get the independent vote. You have to get the undecideds in order to become the president. But at this point, and again, I rely on your experience here, how do you then go after them at this point with two such damaged candidates? If you had one piece of advice for these candidates to go after those undecideds, what would that be?
It would be what they're going to do, and this is not giving us any comfort, scare the bejesus about the other guy or the other gal in this instance. There's really nothing proactively that Hillary can do. For that matter, nothing proactively that Donald Trump can do to improve their image or to reinvent themselves. If Donald Trump tries to reinvent himself at this point, he loses the brand that has gotten him this far. He is outrageous. He is angry. He's America's Brexit, essentially. What does Hillary Clinton do? Hillary Clinton, well, she was going to be the experienced and competent person, and wow, the FBI director just cut her right off at the knees, or maybe even above, frankly, by calling her careless. That was more damning than an indictment, as far as I'm concerned.
Get a couple of our viewers in here. Mike is in Sun City, California. Mike, you don't think the polls are going to matter this far from Election Day, but let me ask you pointed. Do they make a difference to you?
Not right now, they don't, because I think the real problem is that the elite liberal media serves as the offensive team of the left, and the Democrats serve as the defensive team of the left. So the Republicans got to beat both of them, and that's the reality of the situation.
So you're really calling it dishonest media. You're saying that's the reason.
Well, the liberal media wants the Democrats to win. I always vote.
But all the media is not liberal.
Yes,
all the media is not liberal, though.
Well, it starts with the New York Times and the L.A. Times. Basically, every major newspaper in the country tilts to the left. The left controls ABC, CBS, NBC, NPR.
Oh,
PBS,
they're more disliked than the candidates are.
But hang on a sec. John, go ahead. What do you have to add in there?
The media, mainstream media, both sides, including Fox, are more disliked and intensely disliked and distrusted than the two candidates in the two parties are. And there's polling data to prove that, too. So I wouldn't worry about anybody controlling this election. I honestly think the people are in charge.
Mona, isn't that part of the thing here when you talk about the media? And again, I hear this over and over and over again from people who say that this media is this media is that. Okay, look, a lot of it is true, but isn't it still up to the American public then? You get to take it all in. Make your own decision at that point.
Well, if the media were really, if they were as influential as some people on the right say, then Republicans and conservatives would never win any elections, because they truly are. They do lean to the left, with the exception of Fox and a few other outlets. But look, there's a tendency to go to your corners and say, whoever the media is against, that's who I'm going to be for. I don't feel that way this year, because Donald Trump is not a conservative. He doesn't represent my values. And even though he's disliked by the liberal media, he's also disliked by a lot of people on the right who are very disappointed that the Republican Party has gone in this direction.
I got short time here, 30 seconds to you both. The conscience vote, or the conscience clause, allowing people to unbind delegates from commitments, is going to go to the convention floor, reported by our own John Gizzi at Newsmax.com. John, to you first, 30 seconds. Do you think this has any chance of survival or success whatsoever, or is this an exercise in futility?
Neither survival nor success, but it can be very damaging. Bringing it to a vote and getting whatever, 35, 40, 45% of the delegates is a very powerful message, not the kind of message you want to emerge from the Republican convention with.
Mona, by the time they get to the convention floor, do you think they'll have this tamped down?
I think it's exciting that there's still some life left among the delegates who are saying this doesn't represent us, and we want to have our voices heard. And I think in the long view, in history, these people will have a lot to be proud of, the ones who are resisting the Trump train.
And this is all betting that at least 1/4 of the committee, 28 members, will vote for the measure that requires the full convention to debate and vote on it next week. Mona, I tend to think that you have the word in there where you said it's exciting. Whether it's exciting positively or negatively, depending on how you view it, it is going to make for an exciting convention none the least, because it is going to show where the power in the Republican Party is at this moment. We're going to get that idea right in front of us. Mona Charen, John Zogby, it's always a pleasure. Thank you both for joining us. We'll look forward to talking to you again. Now, if America hates Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump so much, why isn't there anybody else to choose from? It's just those two. Weren't we supposed to have other parties who were going to get involved as well? That and the tale of the disenfranchised voter in America. That's coming up next with Wayne Allen Root, and more of your phone calls when we continue right here on The Hardline.